You know, people often talk about texting as if it's a game, a puzzle, or some kind of secret code you have to crack. But what if I told you that getting the attention of a woman you're genuinely interested in isn't about playing games at all? It's about showing up with clarity, confidence, and a spark that makes her feel seen in a way that most people overlook. Because here's the truth. Confidence is magnetic, but connection is irresistible. And the moment you blend the two, your energy becomes unforgettable. When you send that message, don't send it hoping she'll approve of you. Send it as someone who already knows his value, who already carries purpose, and who knows that genuine attraction is built on real communication, not performance. You're not trying to impress, you're trying to connect. There's a massive difference. Women aren't drawn to the longest text, the funniest line, or the cleverest emoji. They're drawn to how they feel when they read your words. Are you grounded? Are you present? Are you curious? Are you sincere? That's where the magic lives. If you want to send a message that actually opens a door, try something simple, warm, and confident. Something like, I saw something today that reminded me of you, and I wanted to tell you because your presence genuinely brightens my day. It's direct, it's honest, it's human, and the moment she reads it, she doesn't feel pursued, she feels valued, and that shifts everything. Texting isn't about constructing a perfect sentence, it's about creating a moment. It's about letting her know she isn't just another name in your phone. She's someone you chose to reach out to with intention. When you communicate from that place, you stop sounding like every other message she gets, and you become the one she actually responds to. And let me be clear, you never have to pretend to be someone else. You never have to hide your interest. You never have to wait 3 hours to reply or follow some imaginary rulebook. You just need to speak from a place of self-respect and genuine curiosity. That's the combination that pulls people in naturally. So the next time you pick up your phone, I want you to remember this. Your words matter when they come from a grounded, confident, and authentic version of you. When you communicate with clarity, kindness, and intention, you don't chase anyone, you attract the right person toward you. Text with honesty, text with confidence, text with purpose. Do that, and you won't just get attention. You'll get connection. When people talk about attraction, especially in the digital world, there's a tendency to reduce it to techniques, formulas, or psychological hacks. You've seen them everywhere. Say this one magic sentence. Send this line to instantly hook her. Follow this pattern to make her obsessed. But here's the real secret that most people overlook. The strongest, most lasting connections are never born from strategy. They're born from sincerity. Authenticity is the currency that holds value. No algorithm or trick can ever replicate. Think about what texting really is. It's a bridge between two people who are feeling each other out, trying to understand tone, personality, warmth, and energy through tiny digital windows. And when your words carry honesty, grounded confidence, and emotional presence, that bridge becomes solid, something she can trust, something she feels safe walking across. But when you rely on tactics and scripts, even if you think you're being impressive, something feels off. Women are deeply intuitive, more intuitive than they get credit for. They can sense when a message is calculated versus when it's natural. They can feel when a text is coming from someone who's trying to manipulate an outcome rather than someone who genuinely wants to start a conversation. And once that feeling of calculation creeps in, attraction fades fast. Connection, on the other hand, invites openness. It says, I'm here, I'm present, and I'm not hiding behind a borrowed personality. That level of clarity is far more compelling than any rehearsed line. When you message someone from a place of connection, you're not performing, you're expressing. You're not trying to impress her, you're allowing her to see something real about you. And that's infinitely more memorable, especially in a world where she's probably receiving messages from dozens of people who all sound the same, all trying too hard, all hunting for the perfect line. People crave realness. People crave sincerity. People crave feeling seen. Your authenticity gives her all of that. Imagine, you text a woman, I hope your morning is going well. I remembered you mentioned you had a stressful meeting today. Sending you a moment of calm before you step into it. That's not a trick. That's presence. That's listening. That's respect. It shows you didn't just skim her words, you held them. You remembered them. You cared enough to acknowledge something that matters to her. That kind of message doesn't just capture attention. It creates connection. It shows emotional intelligence, empathy, and confidence without saying those words directly. Authentic texting also means being comfortable enough to show who you are, without the fear of whether she approves. You're not chasing validation. You're sharing perspective. Instead of trying to be impressive, you're trying to be real. And paradoxically, that is what makes you impressive. It also frees you, because when you're not trying to fit into a strategy, you're not anxious about being perfect. You're not overthinking every sentence. You're not editing yourself out of your own messages. You're simply showing up as someone who is grounded, genuine, and open, three qualities that naturally make people feel drawn to you. Women don't fall for lines. They fall for presence. They fall for attention that feels sincere. They fall for men who communicate with intention, not agenda. And here's the beautiful part. When you lead with authenticity, you also attract women who appreciate authenticity. You attract people who match your energy. You create connections that feel effortless instead of connections you constantly have to chase. That's why connection always wins over strategy. Because strategy creates pressure. Connection creates ease. Strategy tries to mold you into someone else. Connection invites you to be fully yourself. And at the end of the day, the version of you that is most attractive, the one that will draw the right woman toward you, is the version that isn't pretending. Authenticity doesn't just get attention, it builds something real, something lasting, something meaningful. When you communicate from that place, you don't have to convince anyone to like you. Your presence does the work for you. One of the most misunderstood parts of texting is the belief that attraction grows from mystery, delayed replies, or emotional distance. People think the key is to be unpredictable, hard to read, or intentionally elusive. But the truth is far simpler, much more powerful, and much more human. Attraction thrives on clarity, respect, emotional honesty, the kind of communication that makes another person feel safe, valued, and seen without pressure or confusion. Let's start with something fundamental. Clarity is confidence. When you express yourself openly, when you say what you mean without games, you show a level of emotional maturity that instantly elevates you above everyone else sending her messages. Uncertainty may create curiosity for a moment, but clarity builds trust, and trust is the foundation of real attraction. When you text someone with intention, it sends a powerful message about who you are. It says you're secure enough not to hide behind mixed signals. It shows you're the type of person who communicates directly instead of hoping someone will magically interpret your feelings. And that quality is incredibly attractive. A clear message doesn't mean you have to be intense or overly serious. It simply means you express your interest in a respectful, grounded way. For example, I've enjoyed our conversations. I'd love to get to know you more. No rush, just thought I'd be honest. This kind of text is calm, confident, and pressure-free, and because it's so rare, it stands out. It's refreshing. It gives her space to respond authentically, because she knows where you stand. Respect is the second pillar of powerful communication. Respect shows up in how you speak, how you listen, how you respond, and how you handle moments of silence or uncertainty. Respect means you don't demand her time. You don't overwhelm her. You don't guilt-trip her or expect instant replies. Instead, you create an emotional environment where she feels comfortable expressing herself. You'd be surprised how attractive it is when a man texts with emotional awareness, something as simple as, "Hey, no pressure to respond quickly. Just reaching out because I wanted to check in. Hope your day is going gently." That message respects her time, honors her life, and still expresses interest. It's confident without being clingy. It's warm without being intense. And it's thoughtful without being dramatic. Clear. Respectful communication also means understanding boundaries, not only hers, but also your own. When you communicate honestly about what you want, what you feel, and what you value, you naturally filter out situations that drain you and attract situations that empower you. A connection built on honest conversation will always outlast one built on assumptions. Think of texting as an emotional handshake. It's the first impression of your inner world. Your tone, pacing, word choice, and level of presence all reveal something about you. If your messages feel intentional, kind, and grounded, she begins to associate you with emotional safety. And emotional safety is unbelievably attractive. It's one of the deepest forms of connection you can create through a screen. People remember how you make them feel. If your texts make her feel respected, understood, and appreciated, she will look forward to hearing from you. She checked her phone with a smile instead of hesitation. She responds not because she feels obligated, but because you've created communication that feels good to engage with. Respect also eliminates when you're clear with your intentions, she doesn't have to question what you meant. She doesn't have to decode your emotional state. She doesn't have to guess whether you're truly interested or just passing time. That emotional certainty makes you stand out in a digital world full of ambiguity. This is why clarity and respect are so magnetic. They make her feel emotionally safe, intellectually engaged, and energetically connected. They show that you're confident enough to be real, grounded enough to communicate, and mature enough to build trust. Real attraction isn't loud. It's consistent. It's steady. It's intentional. You don't need fancy lines or dramatic gestures. You just need to communicate in a way that reflects your inner strength and emotional maturity. When you text with clarity, respect, and presence, you don't just start conversations, you start connection. And that kind of connection is the one that grows, deepens, and lasts. Text with purpose. Speak with honesty. Communicate with confidence. That's how you stand out, not for a moment, but in her memory. At the end of the day, texting isn't about rehearsed lines or perfect sentences. It's about who you are when you show up in someone else's digital world. It's about the energy you bring, the intention behind your words, and the sincerity that radiates through every message. When you choose connection over performance and clarity over confusion, you become the kind of person people naturally want to talk to. You create space for real conversation, real attraction, and real trust. Remember this, the most powerful version of you is not the one trying to impress, but the one willing to communicate honestly. When you send a message that carries presence, respect, and emotional awareness, you stand out not because you're louder, but because you're genuine, and authenticity is rare. Authenticity is magnetic. Authenticity is unforgettable. So step into your conversations with confidence. Let your messages reflect your values. Speak with intention, listen with curiosity, and build connection instead of chasing validation. Do that, and you won't just get a reply, you'll build something meaningful, something lasting, something real. Because the right words, rooted in sincerity, don't just attract attention, they attract the right person.